I don't know that there's anyone who could disagree with socialist ideology. What about the people in Cuba right now?
You both have killed so many people. I couldn't be more proud of you.
David Harbour, who is, do you remember him? He was the guy on Stranger Things. He's a big lib. He gave an awards speech a few years ago where he not so subtly was attacking conservatives. This was after Trump won, and said that he was going to punch people in the face. Do you remember this?
As we act in the continuing narrative of Stranger Things, we 1983 Midwesterners will repel bullies. We will shelter freaks and outcasts, those who have no homes. We will get past the lies. We will hunt monsters. And when we are at a loss amidst the hypocrisy and the casual violence of certain individuals and institutions, we will, as per Chief Jim Hopper, punch some people in the face when they seek to destroy the meek and the disenfranchised and the marginalized.
Yeah, political violence. We are going to physically harm our political opponents because that's what we do in our democracy. That's right. No civility, no legal processes. We're just gonna punch them so that we don't become like the fascists. What a dope. So this guy, that was a few years ago. He comes out now and he says, quote, this is an interview just a few days ago. I don't know that there's anyone who could disagree with socialist ideology. I wish this was a print interview. If it were a video interview, I wish you could hear me yell, I don't know anyone who could disagree with socialism. He says, I don't know anyone who could disagree with socialist ideology. If you work at Starbucks and you make the coffee, then you should own it. You're the one making the coffee. Okay, so hold on. We don't have time on this show to dispel this theory of property ownership, that if you in any way interact with some piece of property, that then you own the property. What about the guy who grew the beans? What about the guy who transported the beans? What about the guy who roasted the beans? What about the guy who built the Starbucks? What about the guy who produced the cups? What about the guy who produced the little sleeve for the cup? What about the person who is ringing up the customer? What about the person who laid out the capital to start the whole thing in the first place, whether it's the farm or the Starbucks? He doesn't have much of an answer for that. He doesn't know much about anything. His first point is the most ridiculous. I don't know anyone who could disagree with socialist ideology. What about the people in Cuba right now? Because you, rich Hollywood guy living in America, you seem to love socialism in theory. The people living under socialism in Cuba hate it in practice. And their symbol, by the way, of protest is the American flag. They've been waving it in the streets of Havana. They put it on their bicycles. They sew it onto their jeans. I saw it firsthand when I visited. Here, the American flag is called a symbol of oppression and hatred. There, it's a symbol of freedom against the communist tyranny. But they lie to us. Psst! Hey, you! We're not allowed to talk so much on YouTube anymore. They don't like some of the things we say. So you got to make sure that you ring that bell and you subscribe. Because sometimes people do that, but they still don't get the notification. So make sure you do that. Head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your audio podcasts. You can subscribe to The Michael Knowles Show. And you can order right now my book, the #1 national best-selling, non-New York Times listed, because they're a bunch of jerks, Speechless, Controlling Words, Controlling Minds. We'll see you next time.